So you accepted an offer on your Decatur home, $700,000. You did the hard part, right? You prepped, you listed, you negotiated, and you got a contract. And you have mentally moved into your next chapter. And then the inspection report comes back. Hey, I'm Christa Coore-Powell, your Atlanta Realtor with eXp Realty, and on this channel, Atlanta Real Estate Insider, I walk Atlanta home sellers through what the listing is not telling you. And today, I'm walking you through a real scenario, a $700,000 Decatur home sale that fell apart because of the inspection report. What was in it, what the seller knew and didn't disclose, and what they should have done differently. Story is fine eventually, but there were 3 weeks of negotiations, a price reduction, and a seller who learned a very expensive lesson. So let's get into it. So picture it, the hall, a 1960s ranch in a well-established Decatur neighborhood, updated kitchen, refinished hardwoods, new roof within the last 5 years, but showed beautiful. It was listed at $675,000. The seller got over ask, $702,000 in a multiple offer situation. Strong start. Happy days, right? Okay. The buyer was pre-approved, they're motivated, moving in from out of state. The agent was experienced, ordered a thorough inspection. Here's what the report found. The agent. The system was a 2003 unit. It was functional, it was blowing cold air, but the inspector flagged deferred maintenance and noted that the unit was beyond its expected service life. A 22-year-old HVAC in Georgia is not a comfortable situation. The buyer's agent flagged this immediately. Next, crawl space. And this is where it got complicated. The inspector found moisture intrusion in the crawl space. Not flooding, not standing water, but evidence of previous moisture damage to a section of the subfloor, and some active concerns with the vapor barrier integrity. The seller knew about it, not fully. They hadn't been in the crawl space in years, but they had noticed some soft spots in the flooring near the hallway, and they hadn't disclosed it. Now, the electrical. The home had a partial update to the panel, but still had some older aluminum wiring in the older edition. So this is not a deal breaker in isolation, but it is the third item on an inspection report that was already stacking up. So the buyer came back with a repair request and a $45,000 credit ask, which is, friend, a lot. But it was not entirely unreasonable given what they were looking at. The seller pushed back, countered with a $15,000 credit. The buyer threatened to walk. The agent got everyone back to the table, and they did ultimately close 23 days later than the original timeline, at $687,000 with a $10,000 credit and a commitment from a seller, and a commitment from the seller to remediate the crawl space before closing. So the seller went from $702,000 to an effective net of roughly $677,000 and 3 weeks of stress, a re-inspection, and a relationship with their agent that had some tension in it. So here's what should have happened. A different path would have looked like this. Step 1. Pre-listing inspection, a $350 to $500 investment before you list gives you the information before the buyer does. You know what's there, you decide. Disclose and price accordingly. Or fix it before listing. Either option is better than being surprised at the contract stage. Step 2. Address the crawl space before listing. A crawl space moisture issue in Atlanta in a home for the 1960s is not really unusual. A vapor barrier remediation typically runs $1,500 to $4,000 depending on the scope and size of the property and so on. And that investment done before listing does not give your buyer a negotiation tool. It becomes a selling point. Vapor barrier recently replaced. See, all of a sudden that looks better? Step 3. Disclose what you know. The soft floors, the seller had noticed that. And in Georgia, you are required to disclose known material defects. When a buyer discovers something through the inspection that the seller knew about and didn't disclose, the deal just doesn't wobble. The seller's legal exposure expands. This is the one I want you to walk away with. The inspection is not an enemy. The inspection, it's just the truth. It's not a judgment on you. And the question is whether you want to learn the truth on your own terms before you have a contract and leverage, or on the buyer's terms when they now have the upper hand. Your girl has one job at the listing table. Make sure my seller gets to the closing table with as few surprises as possible. And that starts with us doing a walkthrough before we ever touch Zillow. If you're thinking about selling a home, indicate Atlanta, or anywhere else in this market, let's talk before you list, not after the inspection report lands. And in the meantime, grab my free Atlanta home seller checklist at the link below. It includes a pre-listing inspection guide and the disclosure questions your agent should be walking you through before you sign anything. Strategy, not stress. I'm Christa Coore-Powell, and make sure you know what the listing is not telling you.